Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
3 o'clock on this Monday afternoon. A little bit of a weird day because both the Flyers and the Sixers were eliminated this weekend, and you have completely different reactions to both. Although both were swept, the Flyers took a major step forward, put the hockey team back on the map in the city of Philadelphia. They gave it their all against a team that a lot of people didn't give them a chance against, the Carolina Hurricanes. Took them to overtime on Saturday night. It was a beautiful thing to see. The fans give them a standing ovation, the Let's Go Flyers chants right after the game. Complete opposite with the Sixers and the Knicks. They get swept as well on their home court. There weren't even any Sixers fans really left in the building. It was all Knicks fans at the end of that game, which we'll talk about in a second. But I would love to hear from Flyers and Sixers fans today, one, your reaction to the way both seasons went, and then two, and maybe most importantly, what do you want to see happen in the future? And we've been spending a lot of time talking about the Sixers and how difficult of a situation they are in because of the big contracts that Daryl Morey and the front office handed out to Joel Embiid and Paul George specifically. Joel Embiid still has 3 years remaining. He's owed $193 million. Paul George, 2 years remaining. He's owed $111 million. That's because of the front office. I'm going to play for you what Jay Williams said on Get Up this morning about the front office in a second, but I know the Davis Honda text line has been blowing up. If you want your voice heard, the best way to do it, send your voice memos in. 610-632-0975. We got We Hear You coming up at 3:45. We'll do it again at 5:25, but I want to hear from Sixers and Flyers fans on what you want to see done for the future, specifically with the Sixers. And don't just say trade Joel. Tell me how you're doing it because it's not going to be easy. But let's get some text in here, Ricky.
That's going to be the funny part. Hearing some of these trades, you're not just going to be. It's not like a giveaway. Like in all honesty, I think if the Sixers could do it, they'd say, "Here's Joel Embiid. We don't need anything back."
Yeah, so that
would be the best possible scenario, and that's not happening.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to include a first-round pick. All right, before we hear what Jay Williams said this morning on Get Up, because he did not hold back when going after the Sixers front office, Savannah said there have been a lot of texts flowing in. Let's get a couple texts in here, so.
I mean, they're all over the place, but let's start with Dylan. The Sixers are an absolute embarrassment. Unfortunately, these contracts of George and Embiid are so awful and impossible to get rid of. The only option at this point is to write it out. We've waited 40 years. What's another 3 years? My word of advice is to ignore this team for the next 3 years. Then hopefully by that time, there will be path moving forward with some sort of hope where the reset button can be pressed on the process.
See, here's the only issue I have with that.
Why are we going to the process?
He's saying to reset and move on from the process.
Because we're still seeing the fruits of the process's labor.
I don't even want to hear that word anymore.
Well, it's
you're
Joel,
sick of it too. Don't say you're not.
Totally sick of it.
Well, he should change his name. Troll Boy should change his name.
Totally sick of it. And look, we've talked about this before, and I don't want to make this a show about the process, but we've talked about before when you implement a losing culture into your franchise, and then you bring in a player as a result of that process, Joel Embiid, who hasn't necessarily been the best leader off the court in terms of leading by example, it makes it very difficult to break out of that losing culture. And I think that's what you're seeing a little bit. But the bigger issue is that texter says just ride it out. That might be what you have to do, but you're going to waste 3 years of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe's career.
Yeah, and then where does that put you? You're going to be in a spot where you have to – those two are going to be max players. And then what do you do? What do you do? There is no good answer to that. What if you go – there's a good chance you blow right through Maxey's prime with this.
Yeah, because right now he's 25. So in 3 years he'll be 28. When's his birthday, Maxey? When's his birthday? He was born on April 25th. All right, so he just turned 25. So he'll still have a lot of juice, you would think. But we also learned, as good as Maxey is, and he's a very good basketball player. He's an all-star. He'll probably be an all-pro this year. He can't carry a team alone. He's not good enough to carry the team by himself. There's a reason why in the playoffs, without Joel Embiid, this team was 1-4. Is that right? 1-3, right? Because Joel played in 7 of the 11 games. So I think they were 1-3 without Joel. They were 3-4 with Joel. In the regular season, they were a lot better with Joel than without. And that's where you're in this weird state of affairs, because if you do move on from Joel and you got to give up draft capital to do it, your team is nowhere near good enough to compete. But I also don't want to keep getting, I don't want to say the word tricked, but like keep getting infatuated with the idea of, well, look how good they are when they're healthy. Did you see what they did against Boston when they're healthy? Because they will never be able to string together enough games in a row to get to an NBA final.
It's not a trick, it's a trap, because you know it's going to happen. You know, a trick, I guess it could have been a couple of years ago when you didn't know it was going to happen all the time. And this, as a Sixers fan, you can't be fooled again. You can't be fooled again. Running it back doesn't work. We've seen that with other teams around here. You run this back again, it's going to be the same story. It's going to be an older Joel Embiid. It's going to be a year older Joel Embiid, a year older Paul George. So what makes you think that running it back, that this team will have a better opportunity to win next year? It's a big question mark to me.
Yeah, and thankfully Amy Fadul is listening, who does the Sixers pre and post. I said he was born in April. I'm reading it in front of me. November 4th, 2000. He's age 25, and for some reason I read that as April 25th. It was a long weekend, Amy Fadul. All right, thank you for weighing in.
I was going to say, I was like, that was recent. I feel like we would have talked about that.
Amy will catch it.
Yeah, thankfully.
Like that.
But seriously, I see age 25 on his bio, and I read that as April 25th. Like, I don't, no idea why my mind went to
your mind's
April.
everywhere right now.
So November, he will be 26. Either way, the point still stands. I don't want to waste Maxey's next 3 seasons. But, all right, look, a lot of the reason that you're in this predicament is because of the big contracts that were given out. Now, I could actually defend Daryl Morey to an extent in giving Paul George the contract because I understood the vision. Didn't work. But I understood the vision of saying we're going to go out and we're going to sign Paul George and try to win now with this group. He's the missing piece. That didn't necessarily work. Giving Joel the 3-year contract extension, though, when you didn't have to in September of 2024 made 0 sense. And Jay Williams this morning on Get Up did not hold back that the finger should be pointed directly at the front office. Listen to Jay Williams.
When are we going to talk about the front office? I'm not going to come up on TV and say somebody should be gone or not. But if you look at the last 3 years, so 23-24, they let go of James Harden. The next year they run it back. They don't get another superstar. Joel Embiid averages 34.7 points per game. They end up a 7th seed, first-round exit. The next year they sign Paul George, $200 million. Then they get Jared McCain. Jared McCain's playing well. They're playing well. Still first-round exit, right? On the back end of that, they actually tank. Yeah. They tank to get the right draft pick. Yeah. Then they get B.J. Edgecombe. They get B.J. Edgecombe. Now they're playing well. You get to the trade deadline. Do you get somebody else? Do you lean all in when Indy's not there, when Giannis is not playing well, when Jason Tatum's hurt, when the East feels like it's open? No. You trade Jared McCain. And for draft picks, by the way, Jared McCain is shooting 81% from the three-point line right now versus the Lakers. Do you want me to keep going on? Isaiah Joe was on this damn team. Isaiah Joe is coming off the bench for OKC. Do you want me to keep going on? Shinpini was on this damn team. Shinpini is one of the best three-point shooters for the Spurs.
Get him,
That's
Jay.
all your depth.
Right.
All your depth. And now you're sitting here in purgatory with Joel Embiid?
He didn't hold back.
He didn't, and he's absolutely 100% right.
He is right, and I never like calling for people's jobs. I never celebrate when someone loses their job, but I think there's a lot of people who agree the decision-making needs to change hands. Daryl Morey probably should not be back next year, and you should have someone else making the personnel decisions. But even if you do that, and we haven't heard yet, I read you some quotes from the Tony Jones article in The Athletic earlier. He also did say, according to sources, the team, let me get the exact quote here because I want to make sure people hear this on Morey and Nurse's future. So here it says, the jobs of Daryl Morey and head coach Nick Nurse are expected to be evaluated entering the offseason, multiple league sources have told The Athletic. So that could also be a big reason why we're not hearing from Daryl Morey or Nick Nurse yet. I think it's a mistake not having them speak this week, but that could be a big reason why. But even if you decided to move on from Morey and you bring in Bob Myers or another executive, whoever it is, to make the decisions, you still have the problem of the contracts existing. Like, the brightest basketball mind in the history of the NBA could come in. Yep. You still got to figure out, how do you get out from under these contracts? And it's probably not a win now type of scenario.
Listen to this. Next year already, and this is with they're going to be missing 4 guys. With the missing of the 4 guys, they already have $180 million on their books. And that's without Grimes, Oubre, and Drummond.
And I think
and Lowry, for that matter.
Yeah, Lowry, no way you're bringing him back. But I think they'll probably try to bring back Kelly Oubre.
They're only going it'll be Grimes, Oubre, Drummond, and Lowry are the real openings, really.
All right, well, let's go to the phones, Ricky Bo, because people are wanting to weigh in.
It's going to be interesting.
So Pat from Northeast Philly is mad because I said I understood the Paul George signing. Let's give him the floor. What's up, Pat?
Yo, what's going on, Bill? Hey, by the way, I know your wife. I called a while ago. Anyway, it don't matter. I'm going to get to the Paul George TV.
How do you know his wife?
But
ominous.
He's giving me a kind thing.
She's awesome. Bridget's awesome. She trained me. She's super nice. I got nothing bad to say about her.
All right, so one nice thing about my wife, and now you get to come after me. I see what you did.
Yeah,
you warmed me up, and now you're coming after me.
Now I'm coming after you, bro. No, I'm not. Here's the thing. So the Paul George thing, like everybody, so it seemed like it had to happen because we were stuck with Embiid, and we needed to do something. We needed to make a splash because everybody was so unhappy. But Daryl Morey is supposed to have foresight, and I'm not mad at Paul George. Paul George is Paul George. He's you know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at him. I'm saying the GM should have had the foresight to realize that Embiid is never going to give her a hump, and especially I would have rather have 2 mediocre guys than Paul George, and our pockets would look better too as far as signing people in the future. Now we're stuck in purgatory, and who knows what we're going to do. So Paul George saying that you understand the Paul George signing, no, you didn't. You're not even being honest with yourself. You just are okay with that he had to do something and he did something. Am I wrong?
No, and Pat, you're right, and I understand now, and there was a lot of fans, I'll give Pat credit for this, I'm sure he was one of them. There were a lot of fans who were angry about the signing at the time.
Right.
But there were also a big contingent of fans who were excited that they went out and got Paul George. Joel Embiid was courting Paul George, trying to get him to come here. You remember he went on, I guess it was NBA on TNT, and trying to get him to come here. I understood why you were trying to make the big swing in putting the team together the way you did. But Pat's right. Even though at the time I was excited about the Paul George signing, I'm not the president of basketball operations. And it is up to Daryl Morey to have the foresight to say, you know what? I don't know if I should give this guy a 4-year deal.
But the thing about the contracts that he gave out, I mean, number one, you give Paul George all that money. He's 36 years old right now. He's going to be 37 and making $54 million, and then he's going to be 38 with a player option, which he's not going to. I highly doubt he's going to drop and say, "No, I'm good. It's $56 million. Go ahead and keep it." So you sign him for the next 2 years. He's going to be 38 years old. He's going to be 38 years old. That is not optimal. Joel Embiid, you knew he had injury problems all throughout his career, before his career even started. And you go and give him an extension. It's almost the same thing as this, like, Luzardo and Sanchez.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. Yeah, because think about it this way. If you didn't sign Paul George and you did not give Embiid the contract extension, right now, you could be sitting here with almost a blank slate. Yeah, you'd have Maxey and Edgecombe.
And that would only equal out, even next year, would be $52 million.
But I will say, to be fair, if that would have been the plan 2 years ago, after you came off of that series against the Knicks, where Joel played on one leg and averaged like 34 points a game, if the plan was, hey, listen, we're not going to sign anybody big, we're not going to go make a big splash, we're just going to let Joel Embiid's contract take its course, I think fans would have been upset with that too, though. To be fair, I wanted to see them make a big move 2 years ago. A lot of people wanted to see them make a big move 2 years ago. But now here we are, and you didn't have to give Joel Embiid the extension. That's what I have the biggest problem with in the entire situation. You did not have to give Joel a 3-year extension when he still had 2 years left. That's the one that I cannot wrap my head around.
And you're not going to be able to. It didn't make any sense at the time. And it makes a lot less sense now because it's constant. There are constant issues with him. You talk about playing 39 games and we should be excited. How bad is that? I mean, that's how bad it has gotten.
He said it was a successful season because of that.
Out of your mind. He said he didn't think he was ever going to play again.
Let's get another text in here before me and Ricky lose our minds, please.
I mean, what kind would you like? There's no positive.
They're all over
really.
the place.
I mean, yeah, they really are all over the place.
What are people saying about the front office? Because I know a lot of people are pointing their finger at Morey and what changes should be made there. What are they saying?
Okay, so we have a lot that say really to get rid of Morey. So we have, we could start with this one that says that you can't get rid of Morey, though, because no general manager in his right mind would want a job with all those players under those huge contracts.
Listen, it's a good text, and that's what I'm saying. I do believe you should go in a different direction from Daryl Morey. He had his chance. You let him sign James Harden or trade for Harden. You let him go out and get Paul George. He had his shot, all right? Morey, you tried. It didn't work. But if you do move on from Daryl Morey, even if it is Bob Myers or whoever it would be, what are they going to be able to do? Like, you bring them in now, are they just going to let it ride for the next 3 years and say, all right, well, we'll put our fingerprint on this team when the Joel Embiid contract is officially up?
Right.
You're in this weird state of affairs.
Yeah, but you're talking about 3 years from now.
That's why it's a weird thing. Like,
I mean, it doesn't make sense. Nothing that Daryl Morey has done in this situation has made sense. I understand you wanted Paul George here because you thought that could be the piece to get you over the hump. That didn't work either. That didn't work. Go as far back as Jimmy Butler. I mean, nothing has worked for this team to get them over a hump. They've been close. With James Harden, they were close. But if you can't get by the second round of the NBA playoffs, it's been, 25 years now? This is getting a little bit ridiculous.
That Jimmy Butler team that actually lost to the Nick Nurse Toronto Raptors was probably your best shot.
Yep.
Right? That team was your best team, arguably.
I thought the Embiid Harden team, when they went to 7 against the Celtics.
But they disappeared in game 6 and
Yeah,
7.
they did. Well, they had the Celtics on the ropes. They had a home game. All they had to do was win.
They did. But that 2018-2019 team that took the Raptors to 7 and lost on the, the quadruple doink from Kawhi Leonard? See, now that could be the plan, by the way. Is I could see Daryl Morey convincing Josh Harris to keep him, and they go out and they try to get, like, Kawhi Leonard here. And they keep taking swings at, like, big, older, aging superstars to try to get him here. Now, I don't know how you make that work financially, but, like, Daryl Morey has been a one-trick pony. He goes out and he tries to build a team with three big stars, 3 max contracts. Like, building the big 3. He did it with Harden, and he tried to do it with Paul George. It just hasn't worked, man. The modern NBA, you're seeing it. You need depth. You need to be able to build the bench. And this Sixers team gave up on building their bench at the deadline.
And the worst part is, you got players that are going to be injured during the season. So why wouldn't you build a team of depth early on?
Well, he said they were deep. Daryl Morey told us they're a deep team.
Well, Bona and Drummond?
Jesus.
That's a question mark.
All right, geez. All right, here's what we got coming.
Did you see the alcohol prices for the Aronimink came out today?
No, I have not. But I'm assuming they're not going to be cheap.
Not cheap.
All right, yeah. So remember, PGA Championship, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right here at Aronimink Golf Club in Pennsylvania. Should be awesome. Best golfers in the world will be there. But as we continue the Sixers conversation, and I want to hear from people, send your voice memos in. All right, we hear you coming up at 3:45. I want to hear from Sixers fans. If Flyers fans want to weigh in on the Flyers season as well, would love to hear from both Flyers and Sixers fans. Send your voice memos to the Davis Honda text line. It's very easy. You have an iPhone. You go to your text box, 610-632-0975. Hit the plus button. You'll see a little thing that says audio. Click it, record yourself, hit send. We'll play the best messages at 3:45. But coming up next, Ricky, the Knicks fans took over the building. Tyrese Maxey was asked after the game what it was like with all those Knicks fans.
You should have seen them beforehand.
And then Josh Hart from the Knicks said something about the city of Philadelphia. It's got a lot of people upset. I want to talk about why the Knicks fans were able to take over the damn building. That's coming up next. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. All right, happy Monday, everybody. Not a happy Monday at all here on Unfiltered as we react to the season's ending for both the Sixers and the Flyers. If we were just talking about the Flyers, I could find a huge silver lining in even them getting swept by the Hurricanes. It was a phenomenal season. I'm excited for the offseason on what moves they'll make.
Okay. Both of these teams, here's what pisses me off. Both of these teams were in the same boat, correct? They're both down 3-0, second round of the playoff series, and at least the Flyers showed up on Game 4. They showed up. They took the game to overtime. They end up losing, right? Was that Game 4?
Yeah, Saturday.
You end up, I told you, a lot of games just flying in my mind right now. And you have the Sixers going into a Game 4. And I'm standing in the building where one of the entrances is. You know what I hear outside? Let's go, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks. The whole time.
Yeah, they took over the building.
But that's not it. The Sixers did not play worth a jack yesterday at all. Like they got whitewashed in their own building in Game 4. That's not showing any pride. And I'm sure a lot of Sixers fans right now, that is what has come to mind. When you look at the Flyers, they went down kicking and screaming. You look at the Sixers, they just went down.
They did. And when you talk about them getting dominated and embarrassed, most points they've ever given up in a playoff game in franchise history, the only time they've given up more was 1970 against the Bucks. You're talking 56 years they've never given up that many points. And that was coming on the heels of giving up 137 in New York on May 4th, which is now the third most they've ever given up in the postseason. It was an embarrassing display. And if you're a Sixers fan who did sell your tickets, man, you probably feel good about yourself right now, because if you didn't, you would have had to go down there on Sunday, on Mother's Day, what's being referred to as the Mother's Day Massacre right now, where the Knicks just swept the Sixers out of the building. But let's talk about why there were so many Knicks fans in the building. Now, I get it, it's New York, and I keep hearing the excuse that because the tickets are expensive at Madison Square Garden, it's cheaper for them to come down and buy tickets here and blah, 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 blah. I get the Flyers were playing the Hurricanes, and there wasn't a lot of Carolina fans who wanted to get in the building necessarily. But I would almost guarantee, Ricky, if the Flyers were playing the Rangers in that series, the building would have still been filled with Flyers fans. I don't believe this is just because it's New York and the tickets are cheaper. I think what you saw Sunday and what you saw on Friday with the Knicks fans taking over the building is a direct response to what the Sixers fans have been put through for the last 25 years. Not only the process and all that, but the fact that this team can't get out of the second round, the fact that you did know that there was a chance they would do what you just said, show zero damn effort in a Game 4. So I don't blame the fans. I blame the Sixers for this happening. And I don't blame the Sixers for not doing enough to prevent the resale of tickets and all that. No. It's the product you're putting on the court that is resulting in Sixers fans not showing out like the Flyers fans would have done. Because the Flyers fans would not have allowed the Rangers fans to take over the building. I don't care what the cost of the tickets were. This was because Sixers fans are just exhausted with the whole situation. Now, Maxey, after the game last night, he was asked about what it was like for there to be so many Knicks fans in the building. Here was Tyrese Maxey.
It sucks, bro. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. That's really all I can say about it, man. It's hard. It's definitely difficult. You know what I'm saying? And it's only one way to put a stop to it, and we have to go out there and win these games. Just being completely honest, we were better when we played them in the Garden this entire season. I know we lost Game 2 and 1, but Game 2 was better. Regular season was better. Here we was, I was telling them it felt louder here for them than it did in the Garden, and it's but we got to put a stop to it as a team. winning these games. That's what's going to make, our fans like louder than theirs or whatever. I don't know how to keep them out. I don't know the logistics of it, but it does suck. I can't even lie. It definitely does suck.
All right, so I give Maxey credit, though, for acknowledging that the reason why is we need to win these games. Like, we have to be better.
That's looking in the mirror. I always say the players have to look themselves in the mirror to figure out what really is wrong. He's absolutely right. If you went in there and you whooped the Knicks up at Madison Square Garden, then came down here and took care of business at home, everything would be completely different. When you play like garbage, the fans are going to acknowledge that. They acknowledged that they were down 3-0 and really didn't show much life that they were going to win a series anytime soon. So what did the fans do? Well, it was Mother's Day. They went and sold their tickets. That's what they did. You can't, and I'm sorry, you can't blame the fans for doing it.
No, I don't blame the fans at all, because then you have Josh Hart, who has Philadelphia connections, if you want to say Villanova is a Philly school, played his college ball at Villanova.
It's not even close.
But Josh Hart comes out. Now, I think he was trolling, and I think we're giving him exactly what he wants by even talking about it. But this was Josh Hart after the game, questioning whether Philly is even a sports town anymore.
Nah, man, because everybody was begging for Philly to not sell their tickets and all that stuff. So, man, I used to think Philly was a sports town. I don't know if it is anymore.
Trolling, man.
He's just messing around.
And the reason why it's ridiculous is because when the Philadelphia Eagles have playoff games, is there any chance in hell that an opposing team is going to take over the link? Ever? No. In fact, it's the Eagles fans who take over opposing stadiums. When the Phillies have Red October, even though they've come up short every October for the last 4 years.
Yeah, why does nobody get in those games? You never, well, if it's the Mets they have.
They don't take over.
They don't take over, no.
Not like the Knicks fans took over the Sixers building. Like, you don't see it with the Flyers, you don't see it with the Eagles, and you don't see it with the Phillies. Now, I'm not saying that there's not opposing fans in the building. Of course, there always are going to be opposing fans. What the Knicks fans have done to the Sixers, though, is they literally take over the lower bowl area. There's more Knicks fans than Sixers fans. They took over after the game. There's that clip circulating, I don't know what news channel it was, where the Knicks fans just completely took over the news broadcast. Ray Dunn was at the game. I think he said he didn't even want to leave his seat because he didn't want to have to deal with the Knicks fans who had taken over the concourse area. It's not just the fact that the ticket prices are cheaper here. It goes deeper than that. It's the product that's being put on the court. It has to be, and you can't convince me otherwise. But Silvana said a lot of people are sending in their text on this situation to the Davis Honda text line. Remember, send in your text, send in your voice memos, same number, 610-632-0975. So what are people saying about the Knicks fans taking over?
Christian said, wanted to get out in front of Embiid before he complains about Philly fans and their support. We are incredibly passionate, but we're not stupid with bottomless pockets. When you're beaten by a team by 30 points 6 times in a year and once by 50, we're smart enough to save our money and be passionate at home. I wouldn't even take his money to go see that performance.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yesterday, could you imagine? Like, I don't even think if I had the free tickets that I would have enjoyed any part of that game.
I don't think I would have gone, no.
Mother's Day. You know how many people probably had to have the tough conversation? Like, if you were a husband and it's Mother's Day and your wife's not a Sixers fan, it's like, hey, listen, I got to go to this playoff game. I know it's Mother's Day. I'll make it up to you. And then you go through that whole thing to go down there and watch your team give up 144 points.
I had work. Yeah, like I had Philly stuff yesterday, so I'm kind of watching the Sixers. And then I think they were down 14 in the first, 5-6 minutes of the game. And it just kept gradually getting worse. I got on set, and literally our guy downstairs says, don't even worry about it. That game's done. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was bad, man. I think at one point, weren't they like 9 of 10 from 3 in the first quarter or something ridiculous? I think they set a record for most three-pointers in a playoff game. The Knicks were just shooting the lights out of the building. But the Sixers just had no effort. Now, I do give Joel Embiid credit. He played with effort. And when Joel Embiid is on the court, I don't question his effort or his skill. When he's on the court, it's that he's not available enough. and the way the NBA postseason is structured, if they were one-game series, keep this team as is, because maybe you could steal a game from everybody. You can't win 4 games every single round when Joel Embiid hasn't played more than 6 games in a row in over 3 years.
Can you imagine that? I mean, and getting up to $60 million a year. You haven't played 6 games in a row in 3 years. That to me is just insane. And I mean, I don't know if you really think that this team could roll it back next year and everything's going to be fine. I would say you're out of your mind. You'd be 100% out of your mind. You cannot run back a team like this and expect them to get by the second round of the playoffs. Number one, I brought up Paul George is getting older. He's not getting younger. He's going to be in his 37-year-old season next year. You look at Joel Embiid. The guy's been injured every single year. I know a lot of it's not his fault, but it does happen. You know what? A porcelain doll falls down, it cracks, right? This is what Joel Embiid is. I mean, he seems to have that stigma about him that he's the one that's going to be injured every year. And I mean, yeah, you have Maxey and Edgecombe, but I think if you expect to do anything, you're going to lean completely on those two guys.
Yeah, it is frustrating, man. It is frustrating. I said it earlier. I don't think we're in purgatory. I think we're in hell because I don't see a way out. But would love to hear from Sixers fans on this. But I don't want today. We just spent 90 minutes of the show, over 90 minutes of the show, and the Sixers are consuming the conversation because we're so frustrated and we're so upset. But I don't want to forget about this Flyers season either, because the Flyers did, in fact, have a pretty magical season. This offseason is going to be extremely relevant now for the Flyers, where we'll look to see what moves is Danny Briere going to make. Are they going to make a big swing? Are they going to make a trade? Are they going to sign a player to an offer sheet who's a restricted free agent? Yeah, I'm talking about our man Adam Fantilli from Columbus Blue Jackets. A lot of people talking about that. But we will see. We are going to talk or hear from the Flyers tomorrow. The players will speak. Rick Tocchet on Wednesday and Danny Briere on Thursday. So we'll get a lot more updates from them. We're still waiting to hear from the Sixers if they're going to speak at all. Are any changes going to be made? If anything breaks, we'll certainly bring it to you. But coming up next, we will update our Twitter poll that's asking if you're more focused on the hopelessness of the Sixers or the hopefulness of the Flyers. I'm curious where the masses are weighing in. But we also have our first round of We Hear You, the best voice messages of the day so far. Love this segment. Coming up right after this, Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Live betting on basketball and hockey playoffs. It's better on the BetParx online sportsbook app, the only online casino and sportsbook app that I recommend. Bet more than the score. Bet individual player performances and more in basketball, in hockey, golf. You got a big golf tournament coming up this week. Soccer, baseball, and MMA. Make your downtime fun time on the BetParx online casino and sportsbook app. Right now, new casino users get 250 bonus spins on the hot online game, The Sweetest Collect'em. Plus, up to $1,000 bonus back in your first 24 hours. Play all your favorite casino games for real money. Plus, hundreds of online slots like Huff and Puff Money Mansion and Triple Cash Eruption. Plus, bet on all your favorite sports right on your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever you prefer. The BetParx online casino and sportsbook app, where there's always another way to win. You must be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan, or Maryland. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See BetParx.com for details. Casino bonus must be wagered. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's a busy day here on Unfiltered. A lot of reaction to what happened this weekend. You had the Sixers get swept. You had the Flyers get swept. At least the Phillies took 2 of 3, Ricky Bo.
Yay!
I do want to talk to you about that a little bit later because maybe all Alec Boehm needed was a 2-day reset. 3 extra base hits in one game, 2 home runs.
Yeah, you're right. It was all about the just 2 days off. I think it helped him. I don't think it really hindered him, if that's what you're getting at. Do I think Alec Boehm is, back? Alec Boehm's back? I don't think so.
Maybe.
He could be, but I think it was just a matter of time before he was going to turn it up a notch anyways. Although hitting 2 home runs, I mean, my heart almost stopped.
And then he added a double into the mix, too. 3
He actually did, and then he hit a dribbler yesterday for a base hit. An infield single.
So coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, I do want to talk to you about the Phillies because I know a lot of people have been paying attention to the Sixers and Flyers and might not realize what is going on with the Phillies. And I'm not only talking about winning games, I'm talking about where some of their players sit statistically across Major League Baseball, which might surprise a few people. We'll get to that in the 4 o'clock hour. But we've been reacting to the Sixers and the Flyers predominantly all show. Really the Sixers, because that's just getting people angry. With the Flyers, you're happy with the season that they had. You're excited for the future. With the Sixers, you sit here now and you're asking yourselves, what now? Where can they go? You don't want to see them run it back, but then these contracts might make it impossible not to run it back. Who's making the decisions? Is it going to be Daryl Morey? And if it's not, what can that new person even do with these contracts? Is Nick Nurse the coach? Is he not the coach? A lot of questions with regard to the Sixers, and there's still time for you to weigh in. Send your voice memos, send your texts to the Davis Honda text line, same number, 610-632-0975. Before we do We Hear You Part 1, the best voice messages so far today, let's just check our Twitter poll because we asked the question to the masses. As you wake up today on this Monday afternoon, some people woke up this morning, but now it's Monday afternoon. As you wake up today on Monday, are you more focused on...
What the hell did that... Wait a minute. What did that mean?
I thought he was going dark there.
That was very dark.
But...
Well, I said some people woke up. Because I said as you wake up on this Monday afternoon.
And then some people woke up.
Well, some people might not have woken up until now. Who knows? They slept off
I thought you meant ever.
A hangover or two.
Yeah, it could happen.
And then others woke up this morning. But as you wake up today, how about that, on Monday, what are you more focused on? That you're hopeful for the future of the Flyers or that you're hopeless for the future of the Sixers? I am curious where Philadelphia fans are choosing to direct their energy and their thoughts today. Twitter poll always standing strong, thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. What do we got, Sil?
What describes you more today? Hopeful for the Flyers or hopeless for the Sixers? I'm very shocked. 75% are saying they're hopeful for the Flyers. Only 25% saying hopeless for the Sixers.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, how quickly things turned with the Sixers. It took about 8 days for them to be celebrated to now people just furious, blow it up, fire this person, fire that person, trade Joel, do the... It's like the Sixers, though. It's almost poetic that it would be the Sixers to take all that goodwill and completely flush it down the toilet in 4 games.
What is it? Fool me once... Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. That's what this is all about.
Fool me 24 times over the last 20.
Shame on us. Shame on all of us. Because in all reality, when you look at certain things, you look at a situation. Has the situation ever changed recently with the Sixers? It hasn't changed. You just keep changing like one guy and expect a different result. That's the definition of insanity, too. Because when you think about it, we've seen the Paul George come in. We've seen Harden come in. We've seen who am I thinking of?
Jimmy
Butler come in. It's been like a revolving door for that next superstar, and none of them have succeeded.
Let me ask you this question now. What's been the one constant, though, every single season? Joel Embiid.
Yes.
And as much as you love Joel, and I know there's a lot of people out there who will defend him to the grave, Joel Embiid is not going to win a championship here. He's just not. And I've been an Embiid fan. I've been an Embiid defender. At this point, trying to keep running it back and surrounding Joel Embiid with different players every year in hopes that you're finally going to get over the top or in hopes that he's finally going to stay healthy, it's not going to happen. And that's why we threw out the question today, well, what would you do going forward? Because as much as I would love to come on here and say, trade Joel, I just don't think it's possible. I don't think anyone's going to take on a $193 million contract for a guy who just played 39 games and said individually it was a success because I didn't even think I had anything left. That's a big sales pitch.
How in the world? So basically, he came into training camp this year thinking he was never going to play again.
I guess, man.
How in the world do you go through life like that, thinking like that?
Well, here we are. All right, let's get some voice messages in here. We Hear You Part 1. We'll do this again at 5:25, so there's still time for you to get your voice messages in. But We Hear You, always brought to you by Rycor Heating and Cooling. your local experts for energy-efficient heat pumps, lower utility bills, and year-round comfort. Learn more at RideCoreHVAC.com or call 1-855-MY-RideCore. Start saving today. RideCore, we know how. Hit it, Sil.
Now.
I want to know.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Are you listening to me?
We can hear you.
I have something to say.
Please just keep it simple and brief.
Thank you.
Listen to me carefully.
And that's all I have to say about that.
We hear you.
All right, here is our first one.
Hey, Knicks fans, it's not a flex that you took over the Sixers game. On a good year, maybe they're the third best team that people like in this city. This year with the Flyers in the playoffs, they were definitely the fourth. All you did was pay for someone's season tickets for the next year. That would never happen in Red October or at the Link. I can't wait till OKC smokes you, and I'm going to be decked out like Spike Lee in OKC stuff and walk around New York.
That is fantastic. And he's right. He's absolutely 100% right.
Yeah, he is right. And look, the Knicks fans, they deserve to be happy and excited. Like, I'm not going to be angry at them that they showed out. They came down here. They supported their team. I give the Knicks fans credit. I think they're terrible fans. I think they're terrible humans.
How in the world could you actually be mad at the Knicks fans when our fan base would do that for the Phillies and the maybe not the Sixers, but the Phillies and the Eagles 100%.
Where I'm mad at Knicks fans, and when I say they're terrible humans, not all of them, right? Not all of them, but the Knicks fans are notorious for being just like obnoxious, classless fans, and it didn't get worse than when they put up Nick Nurse's brother on the Jumbotron for a moment of silence, and some idiot Knicks fan starts screaming out, "Let's go Knicks," in the middle of a moment of silence. Classless.
Disgusting.
Now, congratulations on winning the series. Not all Knicks fans are terrible, but man, that was a bad look for the city of New York. I'll tell you that right
Horrible look.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
First of all, I don't know what kind of progress Rick Tocchet is talking about. This team still finished 9th worst in goal scoring and worst in power play for the 5th straight year. Sixers, I'm completely done with them. They've shown no signs of improvement and no signs of winning a title anytime soon.
See, here's the other problem with the Sixers. That's an interesting call to me because he says they show no signs of being able to win a championship, basically a title. Does that not stick out to you at all? Do you not think that all the fan base is thinking like that, which is why the Flyers, because they win one series, people are happy. But as for the Sixers, they lose the in round 2 after winning a series against the Celtics, and people don't care.
Yeah, but that caller also said he doesn't understand the progress that Rick Tocchet's talking about.
Well, I thought that was wrong.
Yeah, that I disagree with.
I wasn't saying the Knicks part. I mean, the Sixers part I get. I look at progress being, how was your win-losses? How did your team fight? Did you develop some players? All three are yes.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the Flyers have improvements to make. They're not a Stanley Cup contender right now, although they played well against the best team in the Eastern Conference. They need to improve the power play. They got to get some of these young guys to continue to grow. You still need a quarterback for the power play, probably a first-line center that I don't think is going to be Trevor Zegras. I think he's a better winger. I think he showed that this season. He came on late as a center, but then they tried to move him back to the wing. Injuries forced him to get back to the center position, but we'll see what moves they make. But I'm with the caller. I am never going to be, you can't convince me that this team will ever win a championship with Joel Embiid and Paul George. You got to get out from under these contracts and then figure it out.
I agree with you somehow, some way, and I think it really kind of comes down to Embiid, period. Will you be able to trade Joel Embiid? That's what the question's going to be. Even he said, I don't even know if I'll be here next year, which means that has crossed his mind.
Yeah, I thought that was more of a throwaway line, but you're right. He did throw that in there. He said he was excited for next season when they were asking about who's coming back and who's not.
Wait a minute. I'm going to ask you a question. You just lost to the Knicks in a 4-game series. Okay, you just lost to the Knicks, 4-0. Are you looking forward to next year?
Well, I mean, what do you want him to say?
You don't say, I'm looking forward to next year.
They asked him about next season, and he said he was excited about next season. What am I supposed to say? No, I'm not excited about next season.
You asked me about next season, I'd say, well, we'll see when it comes. I mean,
this still stings. You're right. You could have answered it better. You're right. As you're saying it, you're right.
I just didn't understand. Maybe I didn't understand the question, but if I was asked that after a playoff loss, I'd be like, you know what? Not really thinking about next season right now.
All right, so we have more voice memos. We'll get to them in 5:25, so you can get your voice memos in right now, 610-632-0975. Coming up next, give me more at 4 with Silvana, and we are going to do a little bit of Phillies. So for all of you who have been paying more attention to the Sixers and Flyers, Ricky Bo's going to break down the weekend from the Phillies and Rockies, and I want to look at some of the statistical categories in Major League Baseball, because the Phillies got some leaders right now. Who saw this one coming? Marsh! Coming up next, Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. All right, and you think you're ready for a backyard barbecue, and then reality hits, and you're staring at a deck you don't trust, a chair nobody sits in, and a grill that hasn't seen a burger since who knows. Well, if your backyard is more don't go out there than let's hang out there, it's time for an upgrade with Sequoia Outback. Because for over 25 years, Sequoia has been helping the Delaware Valley turn mundane backyards into outdoor showstoppers. And with the largest outdoor showroom in the country, they've got everything you need to pull it off. You can check out decking and railing from Trex and TimberTech. You can design the outdoor kitchen of your dreams with premium grills from Fire Magic, Weber, and Primo. And you can explore 3 massive floors of decking, pavers, furnitures, umbrella, and fire pits. But whether you're doing it yourself or you're calling in a pro, Sequoia has everything you need or that your contractor can grab all right there. Save big right now during the Memorial Day sale. Sequoia Outback on Route 309 in Hatfield, or check them out online, decksupplies.com.